First of all, then, team news stuff. You weren't majorly concerned about Adam Phillips and Tenai Watson, but how are they today?
Yeah, they're okay. They've been assessed over the last kind of 24 hours or so. Tenai is fine, really, if I'm honest. Philo still probably waiting a little bit in terms of will he be okay for the weekend, but there's definitely nothing major there. We're just kind of up against time in terms of the turnover from Tuesday night's game. But am I worried about, longer term Philo being out for 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, that won't be the case at all. It's just, will he make the weekend? It will be touch and go, but he's definitely, in real contention for it.
With regard to the two matches, obviously Bradford and then Manchester United the other day, is everybody else okay?
Yeah, we've been really fortunate at the minute. Touch wood. It's important that people stay fit, of course. But like I think, when we do such work on our training and our numbers and the detailed work that goes into every session, it's no coincidence that we're in a good place from that point of view. We don't go out and train ridiculous hours or ridiculous, running numbers just off the back of, no detail or no, real thought process around it. It's we think through it all the time, and hence why we're in a good place.
Is that why? And I know I was fishing last week, but I suppose I'm fishing now. David McGoldrick was just pulled out for a bit. He's someone that's going to need managing, so that he's on top form more often than not for you this year.
Yeah, well, I think with Didsey with the Wickham one, he felt just something on the Friday. Didn't want to risk, one of our forward players. We're not blessed with the biggest numbers at the top end of the pitch. So from that point of view, when he woke up Saturday morning heading into Wickham, we couldn't risk it. He just wasn't feeling 100% right. So, international break then came at a decent time to look after his body, as he always does anyway. And he's been in a really good place since coming back from that.
How good was it to see him banging form in the cup the other day?
Yeah, brilliant. His influence in and around the change room has been first class. His performances have been good. He's just probably not had the goal return that he would like. And for him to kind of, get out on the pitch on Tuesday night and put in a performance like that and lead from the front and score 3 will only be good for him, me, and everyone in the building.
It didn't go unnoticed that the side that you put out there was strong. That was the impression. It wasn't sort of a make-up side to get through. Is that perhaps an indication of trying to create a winning culture?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we don't want to, give the message across that we're not taking games seriously. Whether it's Virtue Trophy or league games, we want to win. I think, there was people in the lineup that needed minutes, but makes us still look strong. Robbo, Mal, Neil Ferrugia, Vimal needed a game. Jake Rooney, Flav in goal, but these are first team established players, and they all needed minutes for their own reasons. So even though we've made changes, we're still going to look strong, and then we fill it through with other players that maybe are playing regularly. As we spoke about, Kieran Graham, Faz, and Luke Alker obviously come on the other night. They're players that have been involved in these games. Connor Barrett's out on loan, so we don't have loads of youngsters knocking on the door to fill up the other numbers. If you are a younger player in a squad for a Virtue Trophy game or a league game, you got to earn it. You got to be, catch my eye. You've got to, you don't get it just off the course of nothing. So look, from that point of view, we did make changes, but we'll still look strong in the process.
And of those players that needed game time for the various different reasons that they needed that game time, who's maybe pushed themselves further forward in your mind for the weekend and the future league games on the horizon?
Yeah, well, look, I don't want to go through too many individuals, but obviously, look, it's very pleasing to see Robbo get through 90 minutes. There's no getting away from that. Same with Mal. Mal came on at Bradford and Mal played 90 minutes the other night, did very, very well. Then you've got, Neil Ferrugia obviously looked sharp and bright and scored a goal, which was good. He needed minutes and he needed a good performance. John Russell got another goal. So from that point of view, there were some good performances in general, and it only adds to the selection heading into the weekend, really.
Just as an aside on David McGoldrick, I'm sure you'll be aware, so look to lean you anything you don't know of this occurrence that David was made his debut before any of the Manchester United players were even bowled. Right. What does that say about him and longevity and the fact that I know we talk a lot about his age. We probably shouldn't really, but still doing it at his age.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think, like you said, longevity, consistency, investing in your body and working hard, and you could go on and on and on. So yeah, look, it's a stat that you kind of go, wow, like, how does that happen? But it's testament to the player, to the man, and to the person over anything, to still have pride in wanting to take care of your body, till the bitter end, whenever that end comes from.
And forensic training. You and I spoke after the Bolton game, and you said, "Look, we need to make life easier for ourselves." And on Tuesday night, you said we need to make life easier for ourselves. Defensively, what needs to sharpen up?
I think without kind of saying defensively, I think from a whole team point of view, we need to get more aggressive. We need to get more intense. I think we're doing it in spells and games, but you go back to Wickham, was it defensive lapse of concentration, or was it the team element of not pressing the ball high or not being really aggressive until the bitter end with the substitutes that come on? Is it, I'm trying to think back to Bradford. Did they really, carve us open in terms of their first goal? No, ball in the box. Could we have cleared it? Yes, and it just landed to one of their players, So I don't think Tuesday night's goals very avoidable. So I think it's more of a team element of whether it's the top end of the pitch or defending as a team, and you can't just label the back four the goalkeeper. You've got to attack as a team, and you've got to defend as a team. When we attack, we speak to the defenders about not getting transitioned on, and we call it lockdown, so we can attack again and build momentum. When we press from the front, it's not pressing just to win the ball back. It's pressing to help the defenders not have to defend their goal all the time. So it's a full team aspect, and we need to get better at it from back to front to not concede goals for sure.
And how much is it about, say, drilling and repetition on the training ground, so that when they're out there, that type of mindset is almost sort of second nature?
Yeah, it's constant. It's whether it's in the classroom or whether it's out in the grass. Like I said to the lads after the game, I'm very demanding. I want us to play in a certain way. If I come off the group, I feel like, we can get comfortable, and that's when there's big trouble on the horizon. So every single day, I'm really demanding, whether it's training, meetings, games, and the lads have to live with that, and that's what I expect from them. If they want to win games of football regularly at this level, they have to be demanding of themselves and go about their business in the right way, whether it's, training properly, staying overnight before training or the night before a game, and really conducting yourself in the right way. So I think if we do that regularly, that will only help us win games of football ultimately.
So Rotherham United on the horizon. You've met in the cup clearly. What indicators did you get when you met then about what you might face this weekend?
Yeah, probably similar. Still five at the back. I think where they are now in terms of maybe where they were 2 weeks ago is a lot different, because they've ended up winning 3 in a row. The games that they won have been tight in terms of goal swings against Oldham and winning by 1 against Orient and Northampton. Sorry. So they're in a good run of form. We know that there'll be a real good handful, and Hammy will have done his work on us. So we need to be, as always, intense and work hard and create an environment here that we're trying to create in terms of hard place for teams to come. We started that process off on Tuesday night against Man United, and we want to continue now heading into Saturday against Rotherham.
They will come to Oakwell, with a bit of bounce, won't they? They've had some good victories recently, which perhaps could influence the size of the challenge Barnsley take on this weekend.
Yeah, look, I'm a big believer on timing of playing teams in this league, and in leagues in general. You can look at the fixtures, in 2 weeks' time, and all of a sudden a team that are in a good run of form kind of lost 4 games in a row, or you look at the fixtures in a week's time, and someone has lost 2 in a row has suddenly won a couple in a row. So it can flip so quickly. The timing of now playing Rotherham looks a little bit different because their last couple of games have gone well, and we need to be bang at it to try and get the result that we want.
There's all sorts of different derbies, and look, I appreciate you're in a run of derbies, aren't you? But do you enjoy this type of element of it? I know you've played in this particular fixture. It was a big win for Barnsley that day. I think it was 4-0. That all of the elements that goes into Barnsley against Rotherham United.
Yes, hugely important for everyone, for for myself, the team, the fans, the club, but ultimately, Yorkshire Derby, and it's really important that, we put in a performance that gets the fans going and get the energy going in the crowd. And we want to create an atmosphere that's really difficult for the opposition, whether that's Rotherham or anyone else, by the way. We need to get back to creating a real big environment and a big atmosphere at Oakwell that I know it can really kind of, inspire the lads on to positive results. I think one of the last home games against Port Vale, in my opinion, it was flat, it was quiet. And whether that was from the energy in our performance, which was poor that day, there's no getting away from it. We still need atmosphere in the crowd as well to add to the atmosphere and to add to the energy in the crowd. So in the stadium, sorry. So I asked for on Saturday a real good atmosphere to get the energy going in the crowd and to build momentum and to build a tempo within the lads and within the stadium to make it really difficult for Rotherham.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, I think on Tuesday you mentioned Luke O'Connell had a little knock coming out of the weekend. Is he like Tenai Watson? Is he okay?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. T and Luke are both going to train today, so there's no problem from that point of view.
Okay, great. And just an update on George Gent. You said he was a bit, he's doing well, but he's a bit behind Mike Roberts because he's been out for so long. Is there any sort of rough time scale on when he might be back? Or?
Yeah, he's been on the grass now for a couple of weeks, and there was a potential maybe of him being involved on Tuesday night against Man United. It just come a little bit too soon for him. Look, he's come back from a real long injury, a real difficult one in terms of your Achilles. It's not a nice one whatsoever. So for the sake of an extra, 5, 6, 7 days on the grass, it wasn't worthwhile kind of him being involved in the game on Tuesday. So he's very, very close. And I think maybe pinpointing a game for his return, maybe if things continue to go well for him, that York FA Cup game.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, great. It feels, apart from the trophy game, which is obviously a different competition, it feels like a long time since Barnsley had a home game. That Port Vale game nearly a month ago. It's been a while since you've been sort of waiting to get back here, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does feel like a while. You're right. Obviously, the last home league game, like you said, was Port Vale, and we need to improve on that performance for sure. Like I just touched on there, we need energy, we need atmosphere, we need intensity, and that comes from the players, it comes from the crowd, and it will come from naturally being a Yorkshire derby as well. So it tends to help our players in terms of energy and energetic, and I'm expecting the exact same on Saturday.
Just a bit on Rotherham as a team and the way Matt Hamshaw's got them set up. What kind of style and approach do you expect?
Yeah, like I said, they're 5 at the back. They're quite long and they make it difficult. I know Hammy's big on set plays, so that will be something that we'll have to watch out for as well. And we need to stand up to it and be dominant, and try and control the game, win it without the ball. So they'll have, like I said, with Hammy, done their homework on us for sure. And we need to go about our business in the right way to try and get the result that we want.
One player you'll know is Josh Benson, obviously left in the summer. I mean, on a human level, after all the injuries that he had, a bit in your time, but before that as well, are you just glad to see him playing football? I know he's the opponent of the weekend, but is it good to see him actually getting a run of games for someone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for him to get a run of games and look like he's staying fit. Look, sometimes when you just leave certain football clubs, you can move on to a different environment and a different energy, and it can just, if you've been on the treatment table somewhere, they can make you kind of, change your mindset a little bit, or you just react differently to their workload. And I just think a change of football club at the right time has come good from, I was always a big fan of Benno. My first game at Mansfield, I played him, I picked him for my first couple of games, then he unfortunately got injured. So I was always a big supporter of Benno. I think he's a real good footballer, technically really good. Like you just said, it was just unfortunate that he had just had a lot of injuries here, that was all.
Yeah, and Barnsley have quite famously got a really good record against Rotherham. I think 7 wins in a row. It's been decades since Rotherham beat them. I mean, that maybe sets a bit of an expectation for people outside that it just feels like one team always beats the other, but you have to just not think about that at all and not let it sort of get into the players' heads, I guess, that you have such a good record.
No, I think that's pretty irrelevant, really, to be honest with you. I just think them type of stats just come up sometimes when you play against certain teams. I don't think the last time we played them in the Cup or previously to that last year, potentially, that got mentioned in the lead up. It's just so happened that that's the case. So that stat really is pretty irrelevant. Don't get me wrong, it makes the fans happy because we end up winning more Yorkshire derbies, but does that come into the thinking heading into Saturday? Absolutely not, no.
You mentioned Matt Hamshaw. He's someone he had success with at Derby, isn't he? Good relationship with him?
Yeah, brilliant guy. Really like Hammy. Can only speak really, really highly of him. Got on with him really well at Derby. Now, obviously, leading the line in terms of being the head coach at Rotherham and, doing a really, really good job. Always look out for the results off the back of the relationship that I have with Hammy. So, I wish him all the best. But obviously, after the weekend, as always.
I think last 5 games conceded 2 in each of them. I mean, you spoke about some of the reasons for that, and it's not just defensively. I mean, is that the one issue that, which might sound obvious, but if you can get that down a bit, that the real thing that you're looking to do at the moment.
Yeah, it will help Doug for sure, without a doubt. And I don't think that's just defensively. I think from a team element, can we defend better as a team? Can we be more aggressive without the ball as a team? Can we win more duels as a team? And then try and control the game with the ball as well. So I think from a team point of view, can we work harder and defend better as a team more than anything?
Thank you, Conor.
Hiya, Conor. I hope you're well. Your time with Hammy at Derby, what did you sort of take from sort of working under him and sort of Warner?
Yeah, Hammy was he was really, really good. Obviously he was one of the assistant managers at the time. He was big on set plays. We had a really, really good set play record when we were at Derby. Worked a lot on them, and he had some really, really good ideas. So took some elements from that point of view. And then just his relationship with the players was really good. He was always bright, bubbly, and kind of a real good relationship person with players in and around the squad. So no, he was really good to work with. Only good things to say about him. And I know obviously he's doing a good job down the road at Rotherham for sure.
You're very big on culture, Conor, and day-to-day habits. Did you pick up a lot of things from, with Hammy and Warney in that regard? Because I mean, I know he's trying to build a sort of culture of his own at Rotherham. Did you sort of draw up on things there?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think with Warney and with Hammy, they only wanted to sign good people first and foremost, and that helps with the culture. They want to work hard every day. They want, they know how to get promoted from this level with Rotherham and with Derby.
Yeah.
So anything that I could take from that management team was only going to help in this job now moving forward, being at a similar level. So, no, really good people over anything else, and that sets the tone and that sets the culture just as much as anything else. And I know he'll be trying to implement culture and environment situations just like I am here.
Did you think he was always wanting to strike out as a number one? He's obviously been a coach assistant for a number of years. Yeah,
potentially. I think he was always, had half an eye on, not just being a set play coach for sure. And obviously, where would that take him? Then obviously, time will tell. It's obviously escalated quickly for him, just like it's escalated quickly for me. And yeah, it's a role that obviously now he's been involved in and will want to be successful at. So it's good to see obviously that he's had a few good results as well, because credit to him. He's a really good guy and deserves everything that he gets.
These run of derbies, I mean, you started off, with an excellent point at Bradford, first team to stop them getting 3 points since April. The way they sort of built up, it can sort of really shape the narrative of the season for you, can't it? You obviously got Rotherham, then you've got the cup game, and then you've got O'Donnell. Yeah. It can really shape things for you.
Yeah, I think this period's important for us. We want to try and get a result at the weekend, of course, and then we want to try and get through the FA Cup game, and then we've got another, derby against Donny, and then we've got the Virtue Trophy game that we want to win because we want to get through in that. So I do think this next four or five games period is really, really important to know kind of heading into potentially the next international break, how many competitions we're in, how many games we'll have moving forward, and then adjust the squad accordingly from there. So I think this next 4 or 5 games, Leon, like you said, will definitely shape the kind of the running into January on where we're at.
You know Oakwell better than almost anyone really, from playing and obviously now managing. There's something about home derbies here that they just never seem to be boring, do they? I mean, obviously the Leeds, I remember you scoring against Sheffield United. There's something that brings the best out of the supporters in the stadium as well.
Yeah,
I sort of love it here.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Home derbies, bragging rights. There's no doubt that there's people in Barnsley or work in Rotherham, or Rotherham people work in Barnsley, and however that looks. So it's really important from that point of view to try and get the result that everyone wants. But I think the more the atmosphere, the more the occasion, I think our lads step up and like that environment. We've done it away to Plymouth in a big crowd. We've done it at Huddersfield here. We've done it away to Bradford and got a good positive performance and result. Home to Bolton. So I think our players like that, and it's really important now that we create that buzz and atmosphere on Saturday that our players can thrive in.
Listening to you earlier, he seems to be more demanding than ever. I suppose at this time, the players know all about you and know what you like and what you don't like. You really sort of seem to be hammering it home with them now. You're not going to tolerate sort of things you don't like. So they know all about you now, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They know I'm demanding. They know I want to win. They know if we don't win, I'll analyse the game properly and be consistent. But they'll know that I'll be hurting, and I want them to hurt as well. So, whether it's standards around the building or timekeeping or whatever that looks like, it's everything matters to try and get right, to try and get a result on a Saturday. So yeah, the lads know that what I want and how I want it to look, and it's about making that more consistent now.